1788, a year before many of us were born. In a time before colonisation, the landscape looked drastically different to how it does now. The northern part of Melbourne, now known as Royal Park, used to be grasslands speckled with open forests. I have with me here an artefact which tells of how the native flora of the area would have occupied this region. From undertaking an exclusive investigation on site, PlantWatch is pleased to present this new map that may be more accurate than what scientists have initially thought, showing the full potential of many plant species. The trees were spaced 6 to 12 metres apart, with no understories, and walking through them could be done without losing. One such tree is that of the eucalyptus, and I'm fortunate enough to speak to an expert on such plants.
The eucalyptus plant was truly incredible. It's such a lovable plant, adaptive to any soil, loves the sun but provides shadow to its trunk with it, likes water but doesn't necessarily have to grow anywhere near it. With its nutrient-absorbing nature and shallow roots, it spreads horizontally, rubbing every nutrient from its path, making it difficult for other plants to actually grow near it. And here you can actually witness that in the community map. It takes up all the nutrients from the soil, so depending on other plants that need to grow around it, it'll determine whether they're going to live or die. Land was dense forest, mainly consisting of impenetrable eucalyptus trees. To open up the forest, fire was necessary, and this plant had super combustible properties, allowing for the eucalyptus to burn very quickly without affecting its seeds, stored in cap-like structures found within the flowers. It was burnt in patterns so that the post-fire generation could situate and move grazing animals predictably or within a cycle. The fire would trigger a drop of seeds from newly fertilized ground. This is what made the land so picturesque, with its sharp edges, plains covered with grass, and groups of ornamental trees all around it. Back to you, Cody.
But this wasn't the only tree that inhabited the region. Perhaps Dr. Meg can enlighten us on the Moreton Bay fig.
The Moreton Bay fig is also known by its Aboriginal name, Quaramoka, were used by the Aboriginal people to make bags, nets, and canoes. A Ficus macrophylla growing in large numbers near the sea and sandy soil. As you can see from this historical map, scientists speculated that they grew well near this body of water and prefer acidic soil such as sand and gravel. The Ficus macrophylla can grow to 35 meters tall. Their beautiful buttress roots prevent the tree from falling and helping it to gather nutrients. They produce fruits that are purple with creamy white dots and flowers that can only be seen inside the wall of the fig. But the tree also has its dark side. Some trees started dropping seeds in crevices of other trees and strangling their hosts. Their huge crown of canopy cuts off sunlight from its host, and the roots on the ground are stealing much of the soil nutrients, eventually killing the host. Luckily, before the European came, Aboriginal people worked hard to get rid of trees and provide more grassland.
And if we step away from the trees and train our eyes to the ground, we'll find another curious flower, the pink heath, or common heath as it is otherwise known. We consulted Mr. Cody to tell us more.
Thank you, presenter. Yes, I've been studying the pink heath for quite some time now, and I can confirm that it is approximately 1.5 metres tall, with small, sharp, narrow leaves and droopy pink tubular flowers.
This plant prefers full sun in slightly acidic sandy soil, which is abundant in the Royal Park area. Furthermore, the scientific name Epicris impressa literally means up on a hill, and these plants prefer well-drained, sloped areas. On this open land, there is no end to the potential of the heath popping up everywhere. These little beauties flower from late autumn to late spring, reaching their peak in winter. They also contribute to the local ecosystem by feeding the local honeybirds, such as the eastern spinebill, which takes its nectar and uses that to help pollinate the plant.
And finally, one we might not like to think about, but one that definitely makes itself known. I'm talking about the infamous sheep's bird. Let's go over now to Mr. Jarrett.
Yes, Mr. Cody, this plant does bore us sometimes. I can't deny that sheep's bird are ornamental when there's no fruit. At that time, its flower in long slender spikes has no petals and no outer calyx. The trunk is dotted with leaf paintings with 15 to 21 oblong leaflets. When it started to bear fruit, things get tricky. Its fruit is ovoid, angular pubescent with an equal length of spiny bristles. In the semi-shady area, moist soil is very suitable for its growth. Widespread in a variety of habitats include balsam soils. Air cavities around the seed assist the bird to float on water. So much of their spread in Australia has been along waterway. Sheep's bird plants are well equipped for dispersal because of their hooked spine, which readily entangle in wool, fur, bags, and animals' hair. By the way, bully the poor animals. I would call it a nasty little bad way.
And there you have it, folks, 1788. A place not far from home, but considerably different to the Melbourne we know today.